So let's look at the headline stats. Rents have increased 6.6% in the last 12 months. House prices have increased 1.4% so far this year, and are forecast to increase 2.5% by year end. And interest rates have started dropping. These stats would suggest us landlords should be pleased. So why is there a record level of formal rental homes up for sale right now? Why are 1 in 4 landlords planning to sell in the next year? Why are landlords panicking? Surely if we've survived this long, we should just keep going. It's all a bit confusing, isn't it? I've broken this video down into 3 core sections, 3 core reasons I believe landlords are flying the nest, and I'll conclude with what I believe the future of landlording will be and how I keep my portfolio profitable to this day. But in case you're wondering why the hell you should consider listening to me, well, I've spent since 2012 building a UK-wide home buying company, British Home Buyers, a nationwide estate agency, British Home Sellers, that's dealt with over 13,000 transactions totaling over £3.3 billion of property, as well as, of course, building my own personal property portfolio. So reading the market correctly on topics like this is really essential to mine and my clients' success. So let's get into it. Section 1, rising costs and interest rates.
And now the government's after it.
In the last few years, landlords say the government has introduced a range of policies that make it less profitable. Add to that soaring mortgage rates, a new reform that will make it harder to evict tenants, and almost everyone I spoke to said being a landlord isn't what it used to be.
My property has gone up from $595 per month. So I'm now having to ask my tenants for $1,400, which still leaves me in deficit, £200 every month, and I feel guilty asking her for that.
What can you do, particularly here in the UK, if you have an extra property, it just burns a hole in your pocket?
So look, landlords are getting caught out by the same rising costs everyone else has been facing, but also the same increase in interest rates everyone has been facing. But here lies the issue for landlords' costs rising in comparison to any other business. If I'm Sainsbury's and the cost I buy milk goes up in value, I can pretty quickly increase the cost I sell that milk in my stores to offset the increased cost. As a landlord, my costs may go up, but I may not be able to increase the rent until my tenant's contract expires. And of course, even then, as you saw in that clip, not all landlords will feel good about increasing their rents by as much as their costs have also increased. And so instead, that increase in costs eats into their profits, or worse, means you've got landlords losing money every month. And that is happening. You add to this, landlords don't exactly get much love these days.
Oh, how I hate my landlord, I hate my f***ing landlord, I hate my landlord, I hate my f***ing landlord. There's mold everywhere and damp, oh how it fills the air. Oh, oh, I hate my landlord, I hate my landlord, hate my landlord, I hate my f***ing landlord. His mortgage I pay and bills just go up every day. Oh, oh, I hate my landlord.
So it's fair to say for many landlords, the efforts just isn't worth it. Section 2, stricter regulations. The war on landlords has been hot news more recently, but in reality it's been in motion since 2016 with the introduction of the extra 3% stamp duty on second homes. Ever since, we've experienced wave after wave of new regulations, from Section 24 to the tenant fee ban, and now with the Renters' Rights Bill.
Legislation will be introduced to give greater rights and protections to people renting their homes, including ending no-fault evictions and reforming grounds for possession.
So, although the details of the Renters' Rights Bill is still being ironed out, the main concerns are the scrapping of Section 21. Ultimately, landlords don't want to be in a position where a problem tenant or a tenant not paying rent can't easily be evicted out their property. Then you've got the scrapping of the rent review clauses. So this creates concern that, as a landlord, you won't be able to always raise the rents to sufficiently cover costs. And of course, the introduction of decent home standards ultimately that is less of a concern, as well-run property portfolios will be in good repair anyway. So ultimately this will push out landlords holding on to rundown properties where they may not have the cash flow to renovate those homes to a sufficient standard. So, I mean, it's a good thing, but a potential concern for well-run buy-to-let is the introduction of every rental property needing a minimum energy performance rating of a C by 2030. Now, bear in mind at the moment, the minimum EPC rating requirement is an E. In principle, none of this is bad. We should all want our homes to become more energy efficient, buy-to-lets included. But when you consider right now only 41% of properties have a C rating or above, it's a tall order for any homeowner, let alone landlords, to invest that upfront capital to update their properties over the next 6 years to get it to that C grade.
Oh, how I hate my landlord, I hate my f***ing landlord, I hate my landlord, I hate my f***ing landlord. There's mold everywhere and damp, oh how it fills the air. Oh, oh, I hate my landlord, I hate my landlord, hate my landlord, I hate my f***ing landlord. His mortgage I pay and bills just go up every day. Oh, oh, I hate my landlord.
Again, landlords will be thinking, is this really worth the effort? Section 3, decreasing rental yields. So, although rental prices have been skyrocketed, driven by 33% less buy-to-let properties to rent, and a doubling of tenants searching for properties since pre-COVID, landlords are still finding themselves with decreasing rental yields. Why? Now, there are two core reasons. Costs have increased and house prices have also exploded. I appreciate more recently house prices haven't been increasing much. However, since COVID, house prices have increased 25% on average overall, whereas rents have increased about 18% on average. So in reality, for a big proportion of landlords, rents haven't been keeping up with capital appreciation. All the while, costs have exploded, mainly due to high interest rates. So if you look at this graph, you can see how the net profit from rental income, dependent on the year a landlord purchased a property, has been dropping and dropping and dropping. The return on capital just isn't what it used to be, and you add to that the cost of debt being so much higher. In reality, the whole practice has got far less profitable, but does less profitable mean not worthwhile for everyone? The future of landlording.
Most landlords are good landlords. They try to look after their tenants, but it's a business at the end of the day. If you're not making money, what's the point?
Whether you like it or not, the experts are clear. Fewer landlords means fewer rental properties. That means poorer conditions and higher rental prices.
We absolutely need landlords. We need even more landlords than we have.
Because not everybody can afford to own their home.
That's another clip from what I think is a pretty balanced Channel 4 documentary you can check out. This notion that people think we need to get rid of landlords or the buy-to-let sector is dead for landlords is just crazy. Neither statement is true or realistic, nor do I think it's really true that any government wants to kill the landlord altogether. Don't get me wrong, I've experienced the periodic introduction of new rules and regulations that has made owning a property portfolio more complex. And of course, it's been annoying, but change is annoying. As a landlord, if I'm honest with myself, it's really all designed to improve overall standards for tenants and make property less of a get-rich-quick scheme it had become. It's flushed out a lot of the inexperience and poor quality accommodation in the property market, and it will continue to do so. So yes, lots of landlords that don't think it's worth the effort, most of which I'm sure are excellent landlords, will and are selling up, and they'll park their money somewhere else. Nothing wrong with that at all. But there are also plenty of other landlords that are taking this opportunity to provide well-run, high-quality accommodation to the needed rental sector. Don't believe me? Well, why are Lloyds Bank aiming to be the UK's largest landlord? And they're not the only ones flocking to the sector at the moment. For me, I focus on buying property I can add value to and providing quality long-term accommodation for tenants. I run my portfolio as a business because that is what it is, and my tenants are my customers. And the landlords I notice doing well do the exact same thing. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe to see more of me, and I'll see you in the next video up here.
Oh, how I hate my landlord, I hate my f***ing landlord, I hate my landlord, I hate my f***ing landlord. There's mold everywhere and damp, oh how it fills the air. Oh, oh, I hate my landlord, I hate my landlord, hate my landlord, I hate my f***ing landlord. His mortgage I pay and bills just go up every day. Oh,